Hello, my name's Terry Crawford. I'm the golf course manager at Clandeboye Golf Club in Northern Ireland, and today we're going to talk about building this green from start to finish. I'm going to show you the removing of the old existing turf of the green, the problems that we faced at the particular time with the rock on the green and the poor weather that we had. We're going to show you the installation of the drainage, show you the sand and how the sand material was made before it was brought on site. We're going to show you the relaying of the turf, disease problems we had, about how we got the green back in play. The reason why this green was lifted and relayed, the members of Clandeboye and visiting players felt that the green had too much of a slope on it, which was correct. There was over a metre of a fall from back to front. So in the summertime on our speed of greens at Clandeboye, it was too fast for the golfers. Very little pin positions as well. We had only about 6 pin positions. We had tournaments here where we could only hold 3-4 pin positions in certain areas over the 3 to 4 day event, which wasn't any good for tournament play. Also, the green had poor drainage over the winter time because we had a lot of rock in the drains, and we felt we needed to remove the surface, take the rock out, and then just build from the bottom up. This is the start of the process. You can see our members, quite a few volunteers that came out today to give us a hand to do the job. We tried to, because it was a big job, and we tried to cut the cost down a little bit by some volunteers, and they were greatly appreciated by myself and the club.
This site has been used for the turf we lifted off the green site. The green in total was 460 metres squared. The finer turf here you can see is off the green, and the rougher stuff is off the surround. We only lifted about 4 metres off the surround because the rest going to be bought in, just a ryegrass mix for the mounds. As you can see, this is the original turf that we lifted off the green. This is good quality turf, and the reason we kept it is we want to put it back down. You couldn't buy this turf in, so the green was in good enough condition quality wise, so it made sense just to keep it. As I say, the green's the same size as the original green, so we'll get use out of it all. This is the good root zone that came off the old green, and we're just going to use it to dress out at the very end, so we've got something decent to rake whenever we go to turf the mountain. The subsoil below this is what you see stacked up around the back, which we'll do a bit of shaping with, and then the clay base was what came out below that. So we've utilised all the soils that was in the original green, and we're going to reuse it all again, so nothing's going to be wasted and nothing has to be bought in.
You can see just behind me here, we can see a large rock in the middle of the green profile. That's going to have to be removed now by 1.5 feet. You can hear the digger rapping away there, breaking the rock, because the green now is going to have to come down 1.5 feet at the front.
The reason this job's been cancelled today until Monday is because last night we got up to 35 mil of rain, which is more than enough. As you can see, the site's unworkable at the minute, so there'd be no point in anybody trying to do anything on this because it would be 1 step forward and 2 steps back. As you can see here, we've got the drainage pipe. It's just ordinary black perforated pipe. There's 200 metres of drainage here, which will go in the green on a herringbone system, and then this will also drain the bunker as well, and then down to the hedgerow, so there'll be 200 metres of drainage going into this green bunker and the apron at the front. This is 50 mil. This is going to be the irrigation pipe, which will go around the green in a horseshoe, and it will be stop-ended at each end. And then there'll be T pieces put on at each sprinkler head, where the irrigation heads will go on swing and arm system, which allows you to adjust the heights of them. The whole bottom tier of this green was rock originally, and this is probably the problem with this green, with being so wet and stuff, which is one of the reasons why we've done it as well. As you can see, he's finishing off some of the rock on the surrounds. Just needs to be lifted and then reshaped. The whole thing's going to be reshaped round. Where you can see these 4 posts, there's an irrigation line that's to go around this in a horseshoe, and each one of these 4 posts is going to be a sprinkler head.
The drainage in the green, which is a herringbone system that we used. This would be used particularly in a lot of greens. This is just a 6 to 8 mil cut stone, clean. This is what we use for the drainage. We put the stone in around the pipe work, and then we brought it straight up 100 mil beneath the root zone, USGA root zone. There used to be, years gone by, they used a choker layer, so you would have had the 6 or 8 mil grit, and then a choker layer of something finer to stop the soil migrating down into the stone. But people don't use that now, they just used 4 inches straight up, then the root zone straight on top of that at 12 inches, compacted to 10.
Hi, it's Alistair Harrison here from Irwin's Aggregates in Coal Island, County Tyrone. We were involved in the supply of materials for the new second green in Clandeboye, and we're here today to show you how we make some of our sands and the process behind making these. Irwin's bring in different feedstocks for their main plant to make their sands. This is a finer sand, and it's blended with this sand here. I'll show you, which is coarser, and this is what we would refer to as screen gravel. So it's got basically gravel up to 40 or 50 mil. That all gets washed through our plant. This is the HS Masters being made. It's made through what is called a hydrosizing process. What you have here is you have upward currents of water forcing the finer particles of sand out and over, and they end up in our silt ponds, and it leaves the sand very single-sized. Everything in the sand is below 1.4 millimeters, with about 5 to 6% between 1 mil and 1.4 mil, a maximum of 20%, somewhere between 50 and 20% under 250 micron, with only about 1% finer than 125 micron. Very free draining sand and ideal for a root zone. So the HS Masters is then put into a stockpile and dried. You can see here how clean it is. It doesn't leave any marks on your hands at all, which shows you that there's no silt, there's no clay in it. It's very good for drainage, but also the voids in the sand, which aid drainage, are also very good for capillary action. Capillary action is basically, that allows the water to be drawn upwards and provide moisture for the roots. For the root zone we use peat. The peat gets mixed through with the HS Masters, and the reason this was done, this was to provide the nutrients to go into the sand to provide a good, healthy root zone, and this gives nourishment and feeding to the grass, which is essential to be able to create a healthy sward. And the finer material goes down through the screens, and the coarser material goes to the reject pile. This is the same kind of root zone that was used around the approaches and the edges of the green in Clandeboye.
As you can see now, we're just getting the final layer of rootzone in. The rootzone that we've bought for this site is an 80-10-10, 80 sand, 10 soil and 10 peat. We've now got all the sprinklers, all the pipes are all in place. So the heads will be getting in once the green's finished and it's feathered out to the edges. The rootzone was put in at a 12-inch depth, compacted down to 10 inches. He's just finishing it off here now. So we've got 200 ton in here in the last couple of days. Had to bring it in with tractor and trailer because the ground has been so wet, so we couldn't use any dumpers. So we've got away lightly with not making very much mess at the minute. So we're happy enough with the progress that's going on now.
This is clean HS Master sand. This is the way it just comes from the pit. There's nothing else in it at the moment. And then when we mix it, we can come across here, and this is what we call a USGA spec with sand and soil mixed. Now we add some peat to this sand and soil mix. Then when we add the peat, it's still a USGA spec, 90-10, but we've added some soil to hold a little bit more nutrient in it and hold a little bit more moisture. So then it's not a USGA spec, but it's nearly 99%. We're just giving ourselves a little head start on the green with adding a little bit of soil for organic matter and such like to make it a better growing medium.
Hello, I'm David Jones, former European Tour player and now golf course designer. So what remains to be done here is to get the turf that's salvaged back up and onto this putting surface and let it start to mature and start to germinate.
As you can see, we have the sward now laid, the turf on the green. I would just like to show you some of the problems that when we have the turf on the plastic, which was maybe on the plastic for too long. I would like to only keep it down for 2 to 3 weeks, but it was down for nearly 4 to 5 weeks. Since we put the turf down on the new green, we've been hit quite badly with fusarium. You can see new fusarium has started on the outside here, and this is old fusarium scars on the inside. You can see on the old scars we've got some new grass coming through, and then round the outside is taken off again. If you were here early in the morning, you would see like a mycelium around that outside. That would give you the look of the disease has become active again. This is the front of the green, which we're trying to create what they call a false front. We will run some of the sward, the greens turf, right down to maybe about 2 meters from the front of the green. So when you're on the tee box, you'll see the front of the green, but it'll be unpinnable and unplayable. We have to run a large drain straight through the middle of the bunker here, straight across the front. This is what's holding us back at this present moment in time, getting this drain in. Poor soil, you can see the water line on the soil there. So this is the hazards we're running into in this, trying to build this green in late October, early November. This soil here was the rootzone out of the original green, which I was really wanting to use and smear it around the edges for us to lay the turf on. There's about 150 to 200 ton here that we thought were going to be usable, but I just want to show you after the rain has hit it, It held the moisture. You might be able to see some thatch through it. It just turned out to be not a nice soil that liked the water, so we couldn't use it. You can see it just turned into muck. So now I'm just going to stockpile it here, create a few mounds, throw a bit of seed over the top and hope it just comes into just a small mound that we're not going to be looking after. This area here where we're created all the damage, we're going to allow that to grow up in hay about 2 feet tall, and that'll give us a nice kind of tall fescue blowing in the wind for the springtime, and just give us a nice border to the edge of the green.
So here we are, you can see the turf has been got down here on the green. That was the key to a decent start, because obviously there's still a little bit of growth with the kind of warmish weather we've had. So having got the green surface down, and you can see the nice shaping in it, you can see there's a little bit of disease because the turf's obviously been sitting on plastic for about a month, but that was a good start and gave us the chance then to work on the surrounds, which obviously it all needs to be back in play by next spring, say May, end of April, beginning of May.
What we have here is 2 gully traps at the mountain at the back of the green. I'm just going to show you, we've put these new gully traps in with a silt trap in it, so any of the sand or soil that moves through the pipe through the top of the gully trap goes down into what we call a silt trap. So we would remove this maybe every now and again, and then remove this, and we would empty that out if there's any dirt. And we can just show the 2 pipes and some water down at the bottom where the gully trap is. The inside line that we've created is the edge of the green. So when we bring our turf to the edge of this white line, what we'll do then, we'll cut our turf. Then our second white line that we have here is 1.5 meters, which is called the collar of the green. And then from the white line out will be dwarf perennial rye then. That'll just be our rough grass then for leading on to the green from our rough areas. So you've got your rough, your perimeter cut then, which is the collar, and then you've got your green. You have 3 areas. The last time you were here, we were just working on the surround. We had already the green laid. This is the surround now. We're going to make the surround 1.5 meters wide. So that'll just be the collar, and then this will be the tongue out in the front. That'll be all 1.5 meters wide, the whole way around the green, and will be cut in around about 11 mil, 12 mil, more or less a tee's height. Then we've got the existing turf then further out than 1.5 meters, and that's all going to be about 25 mil, running right round the surface of the green. I just want to talk about the top dressing of the green and trying to make the green surface truer for the golf ball. We've added, since we laid the turf, we've probably put on around about 10 tonne to 20 tonne on regular top dressings over this last maybe month. We hope to push that up when the grass starts to grow, so we'll allow the sand to go down into the canopy. So we'll be trying to push maybe another 20 tonne of sand on for the 7th of May, which is going to be our opening date. I'm just going to show you the ball rolling on at the moment, which I'm well pleased how it's rolling. USGA spec sand, which is HS Masters, what we're using on top, because what we're trying to use the same sand on top as we used in the root zone coming up. So we tried to put the sand onto the canopy while there's some growth, but we haven't really time to wait on the growth, so we have to push the green a little bit faster. So we're just lightly top dressing it, matting it in to the surface. Then when the growth starts, we'll put a little bit more on with the growth, and we just try to fill up through the canopy to give trueness and levelness. As you can see now, we're nearly at the completion of the green with some more work to do, but when this job started on October the 10th, 2022, we've had bad weather conditions. We've had the record rainfalls, but we're now here on the 7th of February 2023, and I'm planning to open this green on the 7th of May for our Senior Cup golfers in the championship. So people who would like to maybe thank would be the architect David Jones, who put a lot of effort into the design. We also like to thank CRL for their input into the heavy plant and the removal of with all the heavy construction work that we created with the rock breaking and such like, and Irwin Sand Company, who provided the USGA spec, and also my own team that done a lot of work, and our own volunteers from our club. A large thanks to those guys. If you've enjoyed this video, there's lots of other videos on the same content on golf course maintenance. If you want to see this playlist, join us here.